Hola a todos. Hi everyone. Bienvenidos. Welcome to today's Spanish lesson. Yo me llamo Octavio. My name is Octavio. Soy de Argentina. I'm from Argentina and I'll be your teacher in this everyday Spanish course. Today we'll continue studying gender and number in Spanish, as well as the undefined articles in Spanish. As always, I recommend you to write down any new word, expression, or vocabulary I'll be teaching you. Also, I recommend you to wear audiphones in order to listen carefully everything I say. Without further ado, let's get started. As we've seen last class, Spanish, just like every other Romance language, has grammatical gender and number. Okay? A word in Spanish can be either feminine or masculine, as well as singular or plural. Depending on the gender and number of a word, you have to use a specific determinative article. Okay? If the word is masculine and singular, you have to use el. El. If the word is feminine and singular, you have to use la. La. If the word is masculine and plural, you have to use los. Los. And finally, if the word is feminine and plural, you have to use las. Las. Now, those were the definitive articles, which are used when both the transmitter and the recipient of a message know exactly what they are talking about, know exactly what noun they are referring. Okay? Now, when you have to refer to some noun that the recipient doesn't know, or it is something that it doesn't need to be specific, you have to use an undefined article. Which are these undefined articles? They are very easy. If a word is masculine and singular, you have to use un. Un. If the word is feminine and singular, you have to use una. Una. If the word is masculine and plural, you have to use unos. Unos. And finally, if a word is feminine and plural, you have to use unas. Unas. Let's now see some examples. As I told you, if the word that you are referring is masculine and singular, you have to use un. For example, un perro. Un perro. A dog. Un perro. Un teléfono. Un teléfono. A phone. Un teléfono. Un gato. Un gato. A cat. Un gato. Now, if the word that you need to use is feminine and singular, as I told you, you have to use una. Una. For example, una revista. Una revista. A magazine. Una revista. Una computadora. Una computadora. A computer. Una computadora. Una universidad. Una universidad. A university. Una universidad. Excelente. Now, if the word you want to use is masculine and plural, as I told you, you have to use unos. unos. For example, unos perros. Unos perros. Some dogs. Unos perros. Unos gatos. Unos gatos. Some cats. Unos gatos. Unos teléfonos. Unos teléfonos. Some phones. Unos teléfonos. Now, if the word you need to use is feminine and plural, the article you have to use is unas. Unas. Some. Unas. For example, unas revistas. Unas revistas. Some magazines. Unas revistas. Unas computadoras. Unas computadoras. Some computers. Unas computadoras. Unas universidades. Unas universidades. Some universities. Unas universidades. Now, for finishing today's lesson, I want you to make the next activity. All these nouns can be used with an undefined article. I want you to analyze its genders and numbers and then use the proper noun for it. Okay? Now, you can take all the time you want. Pause the video and in 5 seconds you'll have the answers. Here is the solution. Un adorno. It is masculine because it ends with an O, and is singular because it doesn't have an S. Un árbol. It has an O in its end and it is not árboles. That's why it is masculine and singular. Una cocina. Cocina is feminine and singular because it ends with an A and it doesn't have an S. Una fiesta. Fiesta is feminine because it ends with an A and it is singular because it doesn't have an S. That's why we use una. Unas tablas. Tablas, it is feminine and plural because it ends with an A and an S. That's why we have to use unas. Unas vacas. Vacas is feminine and plural because it ends in an A and an S. That's why we have to use unas. Unos pollos. Pollos is masculine and plural because it ends with an O and an S. That's why it is unos pollos. Unas reinas. Reinas is feminine and plural because it ends with an A and an S. That's why we have to use unas. Unos reyes. Rey means king, right? That's why it is masculine. And we know it is plural because it ends with an S. That's why we have to use unos. Un león. León is masculine and singular because it doesn't end with an S. That's why we have to use un.